Football then and now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us. A warm welcome. I'm Stuart Palmer, host of Football Then and Now, a nostalgic look at football. Now we also look at current topics. I hate when we're recording and that happens, but there you go. I won't edit that out either. Mistakes happen. It's live, pre-tape, but we are live as such. And I've got returning guest Ant Williams on the show, but he's not on here today to talk about Aston Villa, his beloved Aston Villa. He went and watched England against Serbia in Wembley during international break. So we're going to talk about that. And obviously England have qualified at 100% record in qualifying. And just you getting to go down and watching, your country down in Wembley, mate.
Yeah. It was my first time. I'd never been to an England game before. The first ever England game I went to was the one at Villa Park in September. And that was against Albania. Can't remember now. It's been that long ago, and because we played them all twice, haven't we, home and away? And I can't remember where it was now, but I know obviously this one at Serbia. But going to Wembley, it's got to be done. You've got to go and see England play at Wembley. So as good as it was at Villa Park, you just want to go and see it at their home ground. But unfortunately, I would say the atmosphere wasn't what I expected, because I don't think there was barely any away fans, because I think they'd been banned for trouble in a previous game, hadn't they?
They had.
And that made it a bit more noticeable, because I've only ever been to Wembley for football once, and that was, I know you said, well, we're going to talk about Villa, but just quickly, I'd gone to see Villa Crystal Palace in the FA Cup, the back end of last season. And the atmosphere for that was incredible, mainly Palace fans, because obviously down in London. So I was expecting kind of the same. And it's a bit of a shame, really, not to have the away fans there, because, as we've mentioned in previous episodes with the Villa, when you get the home and away fans both giving it some, it makes for great TV. It makes for a great atmosphere. So I was a bit disappointed by that. But we controlled the game. We won the game. The clean sheets. Couple of goals. I'm glad we got that second goal right at the end, because I think I'd have been a bit disappointed walking away from there with just a 1-0, because we really did dominate the game, didn't we? Like, we've dominated most of this tournament so far, and I'm looking forward to some real competition, I'd say.
With Tuchel, he's not just gone on name value with his teams. He's had a really good look at the different players in qualifying players that haven't had caps, have a handful of caps, say. He's been very much, he's really had a good look, at different players. He's been playing Elliot Anderson. He seems to really, really like him. A lot of positive stuff about Elliot Anderson, even with Forrest struggling prior to Dyche coming in, of course, all that stuff going on. So he's been really hot on Elliot Anderson. Reece James had his injury worries over the years. He's actually played consistently for Chelsea. He's been fit for the whole season. Had him in club management, of course, when he managed Chelsea, did Tuchel. So he has tried different things, hasn't he?
Yes, definitely. I mean, look at, you just mentioned Reece James there. He's scoring for his club as well now, isn't he, at the moment? I mean, he's still got some good set pieces, James. I know he can't do 90 minutes, too consistently, but they're managing his minutes, and it's nice to see him get cap for England again, because it's been a long time. And you said Elliot Anderson there. He's been one of the stars of this tournament since the call-up. He has been absolutely solid in that midfield.
100%. He's really he could be pushing to be starting at the tournament next summer. The way he's going, it's consistent.
I think he's made a case for it, hasn't he?
Definitely. I do think Tuchel won't just go on name value, which has been the Achilles heel of some managers over the years managing England. Even if a player was out of form, one of the top players, and they'd still be in there, I think it did need that little bit of a shake-up maybe. And he won't pull no punches, Tuchel.
It's going to be a tough decision for him to name the squad, I think. Thankfully, he's got a bit of time yet. So, injuries can happen in the meantime. Other players can shine in the meantime. That could still get a call-up that hasn't. I know we spoke about this off camera, but at the moment, those guys who just played in this little bit, I mean, Cons has definitely got to be. Cons has got to be there without a doubt, 100%. I think Elliot Anderson's definitely made a case for it. Of course, we're taking Harry Kane. You know, again, injuries aside, I think we might struggle for another number 9 if Kane, for some reason, isn't fit. But again, we've got a long way to go before all that, haven't we? We've got to have the draw first, and still what we're 6-7 months away, is it, before the tournament starts? So a lot can happen in that time. But the guys who keep on playing consistently, like they have been, and they stay fit, a lot of them guys are going to be getting called up.
Definitely, 100%. Again, people say, he's hardly picked Bellingham. Bellingham will be there at the tournament.
Of
He'll be
course.
in. He'll be in. He's been trying different things. Something like, he's not favouring Bellingham. They were qualifiers, not to downplay the qualifiers. They've absolutely walked it, of course, 100% record, not conceded a goal. But Bellingham will be there. He'll be in the starting 11 come tournament time. Do you know what I mean? He has used it to look at different ways when they can change it against different countries, of course. It's not necessarily that the best country wins the tournament. We've seen it time and time again in terms of the strongest. They've got the strongest team. It doesn't always translate like that. You have to have a real team ethic as well. But again, he's going to have his detractors, Tuchel. Some people aren't happy. But again, he's done the job that he's done in qualifying, and the lads have worked for him.
Yeah, I mean, the Serbia away game, it's a shame it wasn't the same result this time around, because did not expect to go and stomp them 5-0 in Serbia. Did not expect that at all. And that was a bit of a bounce back after the criticism, wasn't it? There'd been the criticism over the lackluster games. We were getting a couple of goals, 1 or 2, keeping the clean sheet. But I don't think the football has been as fun to watch as it for England recently. But that other Serbia away game was brilliant to watch. It was a good bounce back. Good to see Rashford getting back in the squad as well. He's another one I like. But yeah, it's nice to see that he's trying different things, because you can't always count on people like Bellingham and Kane being there. You need to get these other players through, so they're ready to be called up if needs be.
Definitely. In a selfish sense, Grealish will want to be picked for England. The way he is, the way he goes about his business. But in a selfish way, I'm glad with currently with Everton playing for my club, of course, that they haven't been picked. him and Dewsbury Hall, but in the tunnel. Behind the scenes after the game on Monday night at Old Trafford, he was speaking to me. He was seen speaking to them. So I do think coming into March, the friendlies and what have you, I think they will at least make the squad. One would think, because he was speaking to them at length, was Tuchel.
I do hope so, because I think they both deserved it, haven't they? They've both really turned Everton around, I think, this season. I know you got other good players as well, but I think the pair of them has been what's made Everton so strong this season. I mean, again, earlier this week, look at your results on Monday night, and that was a Dewsbury Hall goal, wasn't it? Absolute stunner. So they both deserve to be called up. I was a bit disappointed, actually, not to see Grealish in this recent call up, but hopefully for the next one, if he carries on playing, well, the pair of them, if they carry on playing the way they're playing, Tuchel's got a bit of a nightmare on his hands as who he takes to the next one.
What do you think as it pertains to your English players at Villa? How much game time will they see? We're looking very far ahead now. Injuries dependent. There's lots of logistical stuff prior to the tournament. We're a long way off. Do you think the Villa players will get a lot of game time in the tournament next summer in the World Cup?
Well, judging by what's just happened in these last few call-ups, there's been 3 international breaks, hasn't there, since the start of the Premier League? Cons has been consistently in, and Rodgers has as well, really. So I'd like to think both of them will get quite a lot of game time in the World Cup. Watkins obviously didn't get called up on this recent one, and his form has dipped, as we mentioned in the Villa pod. But he could still get called up if he turns the corner in the next couple of months. There's no reason why we don't take him. He'd be the number 2 to Kane then, couldn't he? Substitute.
Definitely.
I mean, I know you've got Ivan Toney and everyone like that, but I don't actually know what Tony's up to these days. I don't know what if he's doing a lot because I don't keep an eye on the other
A
leagues.
lot, a lot of calls that he's going to come in January. He's going to come into the league in January. We've been heavily linked with him because it's the off season there. I would take Ivan Toney in a heartbeat if that was the case. But obviously, there's a lot of clubs linked with him. Spurs have been linked with him. There's a myriad of clubs. But apparently, Everton, from what I can gather, have made overtures to try and get him to come in. But again, going back to Watkins, it's just such a shame that Harry Kane, is Mr. England, isn't he? He's captain England. And just another time, Ollie Watkins would have a lot more caps, wouldn't he? It's just
Yeah.
the timing of it and how good Kane's been. Domestically hammering it in Germany, he's been absolutely brilliant for Bayern. It's just a timing thing, unfortunately, for Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, he's undroppable, isn't he, at the moment, Kane? I mean, he's setting all these records, and it would be so nice. I'm glad to see that he won some silverware finally over there, but he needs one for his country now, doesn't he?
I tell you what, as well, Pickford. I'm going to be biased. The amount
I
of
am.
saves, the other night, and then there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, give another keeper a go." I know, for the lesser games that you got Henderson, Ramsdale, Pope around. Pope made a mistake the other night, the Marseille game. Pickford, a lot of the time, maybe I've got my Everton hat on here and I'm being very biased. The amount of saves he makes, and I still don't think he gets enough credit, and the amount of clean sheets for England, uh, those saves the other night, because it was a real backs to the wall jobby when we were down to 10 men. He had to make some fantastic saves the other night, and it's typified that he doesn't get dropped for England, in the
Oh
big,
yeah,
big in the big matches, the
of
tournament
course not.
matches, qualifying.
I don't think you're being biased at all. I mean, I've got a friend who doesn't really rate Pickford that much. I think he'd have preferred Ramsdale over the last few years. But I said to you on a previous podcast when we did picks of the season last year, Pickford was my goalkeeper pick of the season. And probably for the last, I've only got two favourite goalkeepers. Now, this is me being biased. Pickford's one of them. Emi Martinez is the other. One plays for my club and one plays for my country. So I don't think you're being biased at all there, mate. I don't see how people cannot respect Pickford for what he has done for your club and our country.
Without a doubt. Just going up, fast forwarding again into next summer. There'll be a lot of variables, as I said earlier. Squads, the other countries as well. There's some strong customers, that have qualified already. Of course, we've got playoff rounds. My Wales have got going to a semi-final playoff. If they beat Bosnia, it's either Italy or Northern Ireland, but they'll have a home berth in Cardiff. It's a single leg for both. There's no two legs. And we would have home field advantage. We've got it in the semi-final, and we would have it if we get through. I think we can beat Bosnia. Again, waffling a little bit here. What do you think? Can England go on and win that tournament next summer, in your mind? But
It's,
we're way off yet.
it's going to be very tough, isn't it? I mean, well, I know we got so far the last few tournaments, semis, some finals. But like you say, there's some great teams in there. And World Cup's always harder than the Euros because you've got all the Americas in there as well. And they're normally the toughest cookies to beat, aren't they, really? Your Argentinas, your Brazils. They're always showing up, them teams are. They're always getting quite far in these tournaments. But the heat, I know you've mentioned this on the previous episode, but we're not used to the heat, are we? And I think we do need to get some of our friendlies. Again, I hate friendlies. I hate friendlies, but I can see why we do them. It's to give some other players the caps to get, like we just mentioned earlier, give some people some game time so that they're able to step up if they need to. We need these friendlies in some hot countries. We need to be playing in Dubai or you know somewhere like that where other clubs do warm weather training, don't they?
Definitely. Again, they'll be over, and they'll be over. I don't know how many weeks prior. It's normally a couple. They have a couple of weeks normally, don't they? Whether it be base, where their HQs are. Again, and you've got to go. You've got to go to Mexico, Canada. Depending on when this draw's made, we'll find out, won't we, which venues and where they're playing. So you've got a lot of different climates, really, as
Yeah,
well. It's not just the America climates, is it? They've got to go. They've got to go elsewhere potentially and play as well. But it will have a bearing. It will have a bearing. When it was there in '94, I remember Republic of Ireland playing, and it was like 100 degrees Fahrenheit at one point, and they were playing in it. It was mad. It was absolutely mad. It will have a bearing on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a disadvantage to the whole of the European teams, really, isn't it? Because these guys are used to playing in this. Well, not so much maybe the summer, because different their seasons are different times of the years, aren't they? But still, they're used to extremer heat than we certainly are over in England and Wales. Anyway, that's a fact. One thing I
Definitely.
want to ask you is when will your playoff games be for Wales?
March. It's
Oh,
March.
okay.
March the 26th, if I remember rightly, and March the 31st.
It's a long.
Italy are not what they were. They won the Euros, didn't they? Back when it was over here. But again, you can't take them lightly. They've got players. They've got some fantastic players. But I think Wales have always got a chance in Cardiff. And as I was saying last week, North Macedonia in qualifying, like we were on the same points going into the last game. They hadn't lost a game in qualifying, North Macedonia. They'd got 2 draws against Belgium. They'd only conceded 3 goals in qualifying in 7. And then we walloped them 7-1. Wales, I think Wales can beat Italy. I'm not disputing Northern Ireland potentially beating Italy, but you'd think it'd be Italy in the final if it all pans out the way it's going to pan out. But it's end of March for
Long
the
way,
playoffs.
long way to wait then for you,
And
isn't it? As
the
well?
only reason Northern Ireland got a playoff berth was because of the Nations League. They were third in qualifying in the World Cup qualifiers, but obviously you get a chance with your Nations League placings, which is good. It's good. It's a good incentive, for
Yeah,
teams to go strong in the Nations League.
I didn't know that, because I've never really been a fan of the Nations League. I'm just like, oh, this is more football. That isn't the Premier League. That isn't the friendly, and I'm just thinking. I just thought it was a pointless tournament, but yeah, you've told me something there I didn't know. So I suppose it's played off. It's paid off for you that you did well in the Nations League then, because
The likes you got Dan James at Leeds, haven't you? We've got Brennan Johnson, David Brooks, come back from his cancer and all that, is playing. He's such a good player. We've got to play as a unit. We've got to play as a unit. The way the way it's set at Wales, but with the players, the attacking players, Harry Wilson was absolutely unplayable in that game in Cardiff against North Macedonia, because it was a tricky one. It was a tricky game. We drew away when we went over there. England have had issues with North Macedonia, or Macedonia as they were called, over the years. I've seen it, especially away when you go to Skopje. Skopje is the place to go. So just made up that we've got this far. I always knew Belgium would top the group with the embarrassment of riches they've got. We fought fire with fire. We were overly attacking in both legs, and I understand Bellamy wants to play that way. Didn't take the chances in the second game against Belgium. We were all over them the first 20, 25 minutes. Just one of them things. But we've got our second chance with this playoff. And, I want all the home nations in it. Every single one. Scotland are obviously in, aren't they? Officially. Got Republic of Ireland there as well in
I think it's nice.
the
It's like you
playoffs.
said. It's nice to see, isn't it? All the home nations been in there. Same with the Euros years ago and stuff. You always want, if it's not your country, you always want like the next closest country to do well.
And some people aren't like that.
But no, they're not. No, no way at all.
My dad's always said, I'll follow the teams, and I don't get that way. But again, it's when people start. Oh, I'm not following England. This is Welsh people. I've had this over the years, but you'll support an English club. Huh? And you know what I mean? And they become. It's like
I've heard the same. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
No one wants Scotland to do well sometimes over here.
It's a bit double-edged for me. If we were to get Northern Ireland in that playoff final, obviously that's my nan's country of birth. I want Northern Ireland to do well, but when it's Wales and Northern Ireland, it's just a shame that they both can't get through, into the finals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you do always have a bit of a tendency to lean to second teams as well, like you do with the Villa. You like football. You just like football. You
as a general rule of thumb, yeah. It's football in general for me, mate. I enjoy I
So I
enjoy it.
know you'll back England if for some
Yeah,
reason Wales don't
it's
make it in,
it's
and I
all
know
my
you'll back
mum's.
England.
It's all my mum's side of the family, and then dad's mum. She was born over in Liverpool, so I've got a lot of English in there. I had the England kits as a kid, but I've always followed Wales. I always have. Even when we were in the doldrums and there was struggles and stuff like that. But yeah, if they can all get in, aside from Wales and Northern Ireland might not get in if Italy do both games, but ideally it'll be Wales getting through, mate. So yeah. And thank you so much for coming on for an international version of the show. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. As you alluded to, the draw will be happening next month. So it'll be really interesting.
I would love to try and get to one of them games. I really would. It's going to be so difficult because the ticket. Now I am in the England supporters group, so I will actually get. I'm not going to say first dibs on tickets because these are all going to be classed as away games, aren't they? So I do get first dibs on tickets for home games now, but I haven't got enough caps yet to get into the away game. So I am going to try and go to a few more friendlies at home, whatever they are. Next February, March, whenever the next. It'll probably be March when Wales are playing your playoffs. We'll just have friendlies instead. So if I can get to a few more games, maybe I can get enough caps to maybe try and go to some of the Euros in 2028 instead.
Definitely. Fingers crossed that you can get hold of some. I know Parrot and Ash are going over there. Do you mean they're doing Mexico and that, aren't they?
They'll go and see it. They'll go and see any game. I don't think
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily have to be England for them, does it? So.
That Azteca in Mexico, historically, because they had the tournament in 1970 there, and then they had the tournament in 86 as well. So there's a lot of historical side with Mexico having tournaments there. So yeah, that Azteca has always looked the business. Even Donkeys years ago, it's one hell of a stadium. They'll have a great time, of course. And yeah, I just hope you can get hold of something, mate. If you can get hold of something and get yourself over there for it.
It's like I say, it won't be cheap though, will it? Accommodation, flights, all of that. So it's just something to think about. I'd say, but definitely in the meantime, we'll try and get to some more. Even though I'm not a massive fan of the friendlies, I'll try and get some just to get me caps up.
Definitely gives you the incentive for sure. This has been episode 90 of Football Then and Now. Thank you to the Sports Social Podcast Network, Europe's biggest sports podcast network. As I always say on this show, if you've got a podcast, you're not affiliated with anybody else. These guys, if you've got a sport-based content show, if you're in that genre, please give these guys a message. Again, you put ads in your audio sites of Spotify, Apple, etc., and you don't pay to list your podcast. For years and years and years, my different shows over the years, I was paying to put my content up in audio form, pay like a monthly fee. That is taken away. I think they're up to 700 podcasts now, huge podcasts on there. Villa's official podcast and they're in conjunction with Sports Social. Wolves is, Joe Marler, the rugby player, England International, his show. Under the Cosh, which they get ex-players on, ex-pros from the football world on and stuff like that. There's huge content on there. Just give them a go. If you want to join somebody, join these guys. If you've got content, they're amazing. They're amazing. And we'll have more content over December coming up. I think a bit more retro content as we lead ourselves into the new year. And thank you so much for coming on, mate. I appreciate you as always.
Football Then and Now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined.